The 21-year-old who was born in the Northern Territory, who had nerve damage in his right arm when he was 15, jumped into a creek in Darwin and caught it.
Donohoe now just has to hold on.
Remarkably difficult finish.
Also to have something you've worked so hard for, literally taking out of your hands. Yeah, it rocks you.
We've spoken to each other.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
So we watch it all the way through?
Yeah, for sure.
Remarkably difficult finish in the men's race. You can see here an awful crash just before the finish line between the Australian and Ukrainian cyclists.
Yeah, well, at this stage, we're still waiting for confirmation as to who may have won this race. Basically, we wonder if can you finish the race without your bike? He gets up here, makes a valiant effort to run across. It's still being reviewed by the officials as we speak, and also these two gentlemen are also being seen to by the paramedics.
Like knowing that I crossed the finish line first, that's probably the one thing that appeases me like the most, is that like it was one of the hardest races I've ever done, and I raced it perfectly. I did everything I could. But like the commissaires were confused, the coaches were confused, I was confused. It was like such an uncertain time. I think I had maybe like 15 minutes there where I'd like been told to like come out of the medical tent, get ready for the ceremony. I'd been given the win, and then getting there and then having like one of the head commissaire pull me aside and be like, hey, look, this is the situation. Like, you won, but they got grounds for protest. People say like, why didn't you pick up your bike? And the answer is because I would have got second. I had 2 silver medals and I didn't want another one.
What was your relationship like with Comitia?
If you can have a rival, he was mine. We were always on the podium together, and that race was always going to be me and him. Him trying to drop me trying to hang on and sprint him. That was sort of like each of our respective tactics. Rubbings racing, in that scenario, we both just wanted gold. He wanted enough to stop me from passing, I wanted it enough to ride through him. Pisses me off what he did, but I don't hate him as much as you would expect. At first I thought that gave me way more fuel for Tokyo and the next games, and it did, but it gave me too much, you know, like it was putting like way too much fuel on the fire. I ended up overtraining for basically like the next 2 years after that, partly because it had like triggered something inside me to be like, don't let this ever happen again. Like, don't come into the position where like you can let an opponent affect you.
Paris becomes the third crack at it. It's like the holy grail.
The road race is not my like sure bet, but it's my favourite. Rio, I got taken out. Tokyo, we had like horrible conditions and I was just sliding on ice. Your tactics, the course, like everything has to go your way for you to be able to win. I think that's why it's so satisfying.
And it was also an incredibly traumatic race because not only the finish, but then there was a guy pass away.
The perspective shifted once I learned that like the Iranian rider had died. It was like, well, this is just a race. And so definitely in that moment you're like, yeah, I've lost, but so did like the other 49 people in the race. You know, only one person won. And then another guy's died. It's like, you feel at the time pretty selfish to be like, what about me? When that's kind of like the overarching theme of the day.
So you talk as if you didn't want to let it in at first, that you found reasons to say it's okay, there's worse things that happened in the race, I'll be better next time. Was there a time where you decided to let it back in?
Yeah, it would have been 2019 maybe. I started thinking about it and just like, I don't know, allowing myself to be pissed off with it. To me, sometimes it feels wasted to like have anger over something that you can't control, especially something that's in the past. But it just took getting older and understanding anger is a healthy emotion, right? And there's a place for it, and then you kind of got to feel it to then like move past it. The goal would have changed my life, I'm sure. But it's good for the plot, it's good for the personal development, and it's helped me see the bigger picture and be a bit more like relaxed in accepting of things like you can't control, that's for sure.